Welcome. Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, depending where you are. How's it going? Happy Friday. Welcome to today's live masterclass. I'm really excited to be here with you. I'm just doing a tech check on everything. All right, sounds like you guys can hear and see me. So again, happy Friday. Thanks for being here. I'm streaming on both YouTube Live and to our closed Facebook group for JoyDeck members. And YouTube Live, you may not be familiar with JoyDeck. So this is a resource that we do monthly for JoyDeck members, but we also open it up to everyone. The difference is that JoyDeck members get additional resources, a full resource kit that accompanies the masterclass. They get priority questions and support, and they get to enter the challenge that is associated with this masterclass. So there's some perks, but we want to be open about it and also share this content with everyone. If you are joining these master classes for the first time, welcome. I'm really excited to have you here. So let me just tell you some logistical things. We have Rebecca, our lovely client account manager and community moderator for this masterclass. She's in the chat on YouTube and Facebook, and so if you have any questions, she'll be kind of wrangling them for me and passing them along. And also you can say hi to her. She's very friendly and helpful. And I see Laura is on Facebook. Hi Laura, happy Friday. Thanks for joining. Really excited to have you here. I appreciate that you're always showing up. That says a lot of positive things about you and your business, and also I appreciate it. I love seeing you here. And yeah, chime in, say hi, introduce yourself. And throughout the live, this is very interactive, so I encourage you to ask a lot of questions. I may even be asking for you, if you don't feel shy, to give me like specific examples about your business so that we can help you individually diagnose your problems on this event today. So this topic today is so important. Hi, Rena. Nice to see you. I'm just going to interrupt and say hi to everyone. The topic today is a little hard for us to wrap our heads around it because it's still summer. Where I am today, it's like 90-something degrees. We're not thinking about Christmas, but it's basically the end of August, okay? September, Labor Day weekend is going to be here before we know it, and then we're headed right into Q4, which for brands that sell online, like jewelry, this is, for the majority of them, the most active and most opportunity-filled time of the year, and the most wonderful and joyful time of the year. We hate to think about it in August. Even us at our marketing agency, we're like, this is kind of tough to wrap our heads around, but it's a reality and we have to plan for it, because the better we can plan, the more prepared we will be, and the better outcomes that we will have. So this topic is all about warming up your list before the holiday season. And yes, it is important to start this, or to at least start thinking about it, in August. And when I say list, I mean email list. So if you are out there watching this and you're thinking, I'm not sure how much this is going to apply to me because I don't have a big email list, so there's not really a lot to warm up there. We're also going to consider this as like the time to build your list in at least however way you can, so that by the time you get to October, November, even December, you have an audience to talk to and all your beautiful products, all your thoughtful messaging, all of that is not falling on deaf ears. You have people who are excited to hear from you. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I want you to start thinking about your questions too, because I'm really excited to answer them and involve you. I'm going to share my screen for just a moment because I want to share with our JoyDeck members what our challenge is today. For September. So let me share the screen. Okay, so this is the exclusive resource kit that comes for JoyDeck members alongside today's masterclass. And we have a new challenge submission form. I think most of you have seen this already, but it kind of makes it a little bit easier to submit your challenge and a little bit more organized and easy to understand. You can always watch the replay here. And then this month's challenge is customize one of our fall marketing email templates and show us how it fits into your holiday sales prep plan. So you're gonna choose one of our 4 pre-made fall email templates. You're gonna swap in your logo, your colors, obviously put in your products and your own messaging to make it yours. Take a screenshot and then tell us, what is this email helping you do? So basically, what is the goal that you have in mind for this email? Are you trying to warm up lapsed customers? I can't even say that word. Build wish list momentum, tease new products. And then how does this one piece, this one asset in your mind fit into the overall holiday game plan? Just to get you to start thinking a little bit more strategically, and also to get you excited about your email marketing leading into Q4. And the deadline is September 19th. And on this resource page, you will find our 4 email templates as well as ideas for fall emails you must send before Black Friday. So it's pretty cool. You get all of these resources. If you're watching and you're not a JoyDeck member, that's okay too. You can do it for free for a month. Just even if you want to participate in this and really kind of take advantage of the resource, go to myjoydeck.com. Here, I'm going to refresh it for you. And we have a free trial button in the top right-hand corner, and you can take advantage of that trial for 30 days. Get all the resources, get the fall templates, get the ball rolling on your email marketing. Okay, let me stop sharing my screen and let's get started. So, hopefully, all of you out there have an email list. Let me know if you feel comfortable sharing. You don't have to share, but it's always kind of nice to get an idea. What kind of email list sizes are you working with? You can even give me like a ballpark. It doesn't have to be an exact number. And also, how often are you already emailing them? Is it once a week? Is it once a month? Is it just kind of like when you remember? This is a no judgment zone here. I'm not going to take a ruler and like smack you if you haven't emailed your list in a while. It's totally fine. It just helps me better understand where you're all at. So list size approximately, and how often in the past few months, this year, consistently have you been emailing your list? So why is this topic so important today? Probably doesn't sound like the sexiest of all topics. And again, do we want to be thinking about holiday on a really hot August day? We do, because one, most customers don't want to buy from a brand they haven't heard from in a while. I see this so often that a jewelry business owner is like, oh no, I'm having a sale, time to like start emailing my list like days before that sale happens. And maybe it's been a few weeks or even months since the last time they emailed. Or, oh, that's right, I'm having some events coming up. I should probably like say something about that. It's very, I don't know what the right is. I don't want to say annoying, but as a subscriber of an email list, it's a little bit like it will throw you off to get an email from a brand you haven't heard from in a while, even if it's been a few weeks, because if you do happen to notice it in your inbox, it almost feels a little bit like artificial in its intentions, if that makes sense. It's kind of like if you have a friend who starts to reach out to you and get kind of friendly only like when they want something from you, and you start to get like little suspicious, like you've caught on to their act, and you're like, what does this person want from me? You know, that's what it feels like a little bit when you get really sporadic emails from businesses. I feel that way as a consumer. I would rather hear from a brand that I like consistently, and just, you know, if I'm not in the mood to look at their email that day, it's okay. I can just delete it. It's nothing personal. But at least there's this acknowledgement that they are like showing up and being consistent for me, rather than just showing up when they want something from me, which people definitely pick up on. And so you don't want to get to November and suddenly, oh, knock, 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 I have stuff I want to sell to you. Well, that just feels a little bit manipulative. Also in Q4, as many of us know, if we subscribe to emails or we follow brands, if we're shoppers, we know Q4 gets really crowded in the inbox. You start competing with a lot of brands because brands start ramping up their campaign send frequency. They're sending more often. There are also the brands that do what I just said not to do, where they suddenly start showing up. Don't be that brand. And so you want to kind of establish that rapport and presence before it starts to get competitive. And keeping that in mind, we can also talk a little later in this masterclass too about like timing and navigating that busy time, that busy promotional time, especially around Black Friday. So you want to think of your email list as a garden. If you plant seeds and you forget to water them, you're not going to get much of a harvest. But if you are nurturing those connections little by little, you will be top of mind when it's time for them to shop and make their purchasing decisions. I think another like very common mistake is like brands see email just as a selling engine. So their whole content strategy is like, sell, sell, sell. Here's a promotion. Here's something new. I'm selling, selling, selling. But there's definitely an element of email that has to be about staying connected, building trust, and the biggest one is offering value. Again, you want to give as much as you are asking for. So we got some feedback in the chat, in the comments. So Rena says, list size 600 plus and email once a week. That's amazing. Nicole on YouTube says just under 500. Laura says list is about 220. I email 2 to 4 times a month. And she's adding more than 30 people this summer from the art festival. Another Laura says around 400 and once a month. You know what? Well, first of all, you're all in good company here because you have similar list sizes. And I love that everyone here seems to be pretty consistent. Like the frequency is all slightly different. That's okay. I think the name of the game is consistency. I would recommend especially in this time, late August, going into September, if you're like a 2 times a month person or once a month person, maybe ramp up like just the tiniest bit. You're not going to go from once a month to emailing every day, but maybe a little more often. Because again, it's going to start to get a little more crowded, and that once a month email that may have worked in April, for example, it's just going to get lost in the noise. And you, again, as I said, it's not always about just like selling. Think of these as relationship touch points with your customers. So when we're thinking about warming up our lists, we want to think about, what does our audience need? Everyone who chimed in the comments has a very manageable list size. Anything under 1,000, like, this is where you can really get personal, when you can do such a good job maintaining your list health. Actually, when you get bigger lists, while on one hand there's a lot of opportunity there, it actually becomes more difficult to kind of wrangle it, keep the list healthy, like understand the needs of all the different groups within that list. So you, although it's great to have a giant list, like 10,000 plus people, it's like mo money, mo problems. Well, mo subscribers, mo problems too. So you are all in a place where it's very manageable. You need to understand the audience's needs. So thinking about breaking your list into general buckets, and you can do this through segmentation. So actually, if you want to say in the comments what email platform you're using, I can give you some general guidance about how to actually build these segments too, because it's slightly different. I can tell you in Klaviyo, and then if there are others, I can also advise you. But you want to know who is your most engaged subscribers, who are your least engaged subscribers, and then who are people that haven't opened or clicked in a very long time. So like disengaged, basically. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. So in your email marketing platform, actually, if you have Klaviyo like pre-builds recommended segments for you when you sign up for an account. So if you have Klaviyo and you never like deleted any of them or modified them, you'll see pre-built segments that now I cannot recall off the top of my head. Let me open up Klaviyo really quick so I can tell you. But I believe they have 180 days engaged, least engaged, and some other buckets. I'm just opening while I'm speaking to you, so forgive me. We have one person on MailChimp. I'm pretty sure MailChimp also has some pre-built segments. Okay, so in Klaviyo, they do give you some default segments that are engaged 90 days. So that is over the period of 90 days, who has been the most engaged. They give you engaged 60 days, so that's over the period of 60 days, who's the most engaged, and then engaged 30 days. And the one that you would want to pay attention to know who is your most engaged segment, it depends how often you're emailing. So here's an example. If you are a person who's only emailing once a month, That means in 90 days, you have only sent 3 emails, right? Yes. So there are fewer touch points for your subscribers to even interact with. So you would want to look at a bigger period of time to figure out who are your most engaged subscribers. If you're emailing once a week, you have more touch points because within 30 days, there will be about 4 email touch points. So you can look at an engaged list that is in a more condensed period of time. And that's actually kind of a math problem here, right? If you are not convinced that emailing more often is going to help you, this is actually like a good argument for it, because you're getting more data when you email more often, and you're able to see more quickly like which portion of your list has gone quiet and which are your true core fans. And in many ways, it's better to kind of learn that sooner rather than later, because you want to talk to the most engaged part of your list. And if you're emailing less frequently, it's harder to see who those people are. Because if you think about your own inbox, you probably get a lot of emails. If a brand in 90 days has only emailed you 3 times over 3 months, there is a very, very, very good chance you didn't even see that email. Like, it just got lost. But if there are more frequent touch points, there's a higher chance that someone who actually really does want to hear from you is going to see the email. So anyway, you can choose who are your most engaged subscribers. I'm 99% sure in MailChimp, they also already have these pre-built segments that you can choose. When you go to the segmentation settings, they kind of have like, oh, see my engaged people, see my disengaged people, see who is new to the list, and be aware of who's in those buckets. Like, take a look at what the numbers look like. For example, if you have 500 people on your list and only like 50 of those are your most engaged, that might be a little bit of a wake-up call that it's a very small percentage. So first of all, I better like really prioritize those people and maybe send them like an extra email or 2 because they really want to hear from me. And it's also a little bit of a metric that makes you pause and think, okay, a good portion of my list is not super engaged. So how can I shift my strategy to try to bring those people back in, or over time, weed out the people that are no longer interested because they kind of act like dead weight on your list? And someone asked, should I create a segment for recent subscribers who signed up at my booth and purchased from me at the art festival? I think that could be a really great idea, Laura, if you have a specific action that you want to take on top of that. Like, it's one thing to make the segment, and it's also good to know. It's good for the knowledge, like I just said, to be aware of like who falls into each of these buckets. But what I really want the ultimate step to be for all of this is to think about how the messaging might be a little bit different. So, for example, if you have this segment of new people that you add to the list, maybe since they are like fresher and you kind of have them like in a moment where they have recently interacted with your brand, maybe you send them like an extra email or 2 that you think would cater to them or be specific to them. Like, I think for people that you met at summer art festivals, you know, those festivals are very seasonal. They don't happen at other times of the year. play on that emotional aspect, and it's like, oh, do you miss summer? And have almost like a collection of your virtual summer fair pieces, or because people get nostalgic about that kind of thing and playing to that emotional factor. But the ultimate takeaway is to use this knowledge in an actionable way. So if you have that super engaged segment, let's say, okay, 50 people of your 500 are very engaged, and you've been feeling a little nervous about sending extra emails beyond what you're already doing. I get that. Leading up to holiday, maybe your whole list gets whatever, 1 email a week or 1 email a month, but then the engaged segment gets like a more extra special email just for them in additional time per week or per month or whatever it is that you're doing with your cadence. And thinking about what those people would want and how you can make them feel truly valued in that communication, because they are there for you. Like, they are engaging with you. There's a very low risk that you would annoy them or turn them off. They want to be there. So that is an advantage of knowing your engaged subscribers. There's a low risk of, sending too much. They're there for you. So perhaps they get some kind of special perk, or they get some kind of extra storytelling, whatever you think makes sense for your brand. And feel free to leave questions or your own ideas in the comments, and I can speak to them. But that's your best opportunity for ramping up and warming up through the holidays. The rest of your list, they may or may not come around to you. That's to be determined. And then there will always be a portion of your list that is just not going to be as engaged. And that is not necessarily a reflection on you. There could be a million reasons why. But also be aware of who are those least engaged people. I'm just looking in Klaviyo. Basically, you could make a segment in MailChimp or Klaviyo that is okay, how can I describe it? Person has been on the list for at least 90 days, and in that 90 days, they have opened and clicked zero times. And you can, again, adjust that time frame a little bit and play around with it based on how often you send. But if someone's been on your list for 90 days and they have not opened or clicked on any emails, you don't want that person on your list. They are increasing your chances that you're going to end up in spam and hurting your deliverability. There's absolutely zero reason to have that dead weight on your list, even if that means you take your list of 500 and have to comb it down to 250. I would rather you have a list of 250 people that want to be there than 500 people that are half interested. We don't want that. Okay, so let me take a sip of water. And feel free to ask questions. YouTube Laura asks, I usually don't have a good idea for newsletter topics beyond announcing new jewelry pieces and events and participating in subject topics, please. This is the most common problem. It's really hard to come up with topics beyond new. But I think part of that is it's not just an email problem. It's like thinking through your storytelling. What does your brand stand for? What is your merchandising strategy? So for example, I can rattle off some topics of things that we are doing right now with customers. So sapphire for September. I know that birthstones are kind of like a, dare we call them cliche? It's in some regard like an overused topic, but if you were a brand that had amazing sapphires, are you going to miss out on that opportunity? Like, it's kind of a no-brainer. And so we have a few clients that they source like beautiful, amazing sapphires. So we are milking that in September. And it makes so much sense. And people love the sapphire. So why not? So like birthstone, easy topic. Seasonal merchandising. So color stories. Like what else is happening at different times of the year? For example, back to school is happening right now. And thinking outside of the box with that. So back to school, yeah, that usually applies to children, but parents, moms, maybe they want to look cute when they have to go to their PTA meetings or whatever it may be. We just did a topic for National Grandparents' Day is like coming soon, and it happened to resonate with one of our clients because they do a lot of like heirloom reimagining, like multi-generational kind of timeless, meaningful stuff. And it's so this call to action is like, okay, rework something maybe from your grandparent or to gift or to pass down. And so tying in this like bigger story. Summer is about travel, weekend getaways, weddings, wedding guests. The storytelling and the email topic thing, while yes, it's a marketing question, it's also a merchandising question. So how are you, even if you only have like 10 products in your assortment, are you constantly thinking of new ways to like present and reinvent those? The same way that a physical jewelry store that has a window, they can't just keep the same window all year and it gets dusty and people just walk by and they're like, I saw that already. Every few weeks, they have to change it up. And the email marketing has to also be presented similarly. So you have to think about what stories, what events, what themes are aligned with your brand, and how can I keep representing my product? Because if you're only focused on new, first of all, that's going to be an issue if you don't release new very often. And it's going to cause fatigue of your list. And if you only focus on promotions or discounts, that's also a very bad place to get yourself into, because you're going to train your list to only expect certain things from you, and they're either going to tune out when you try to do something different. Yeah, that's just the thing. So you know who is your best friend? ChatGPT is your best friend. Also, if you become a JoyDeck member, we have monthly calendars that have themes and email topic and social media ideas for the month. We just released our September calendar this week. And you can become a JoyDeck member for 30 days and access all of that. So that's a plug for JoyDeck. And the members in the chat, did you guys already see the September calendar? And are you starting to think about your September themes? So speaking of topics, my next thing that I want to talk about is, what do you send between now and holiday? Wow. I was sitting down this week to plan a lot of calendars, even internally. And I have to say, I love this time of year because even though it's still summer, like you can see through the end of the year and like realistically get there. It is such a good time to do a planning marathon like right now. I got to the end of the year in a bunch of different cases and I was like, all right, this is less daunting than having to do like a whole year worth of planning. But anyway, what should you be sending now and in early September? This is a good time to do behind the scenes. Are you working on new stuff? If you're not working on new stuff, what's going on? Like, what are you working on? Are you sourcing packaging? Are you gathering inspiration? Have you been traveling? What are you working on? Give studio updates. More inviting people into the fold of your jewelry brand is it's a very good time to do it. Also, providing value through education like jewelry care tips, styling inspo. Again, we are going into fall. A lot of people like to revisit and rethink their wardrobe at this time of year. There is a big seasonal transition going from summer to fall. Color palettes change, textures change. Suddenly people are interested in layers. So how can you guide them through that transition? Then mid-September into October. So while we first focused on reconnection and value, next we're going into anticipation and excitement. So holiday sneak peeks. If you, again, are working on something special that's going to be released for holiday, work in progress, sketches. If there's nothing new, there's got to be other ways you're preparing. You know, maybe you have gift packaging, like I said, or you are doing some like marketing things. I think it's fun to just like invite people into your world. This is also a really good time to look at what were the favorites and best sellers from last year, and to, if you still offer them and they are still going to be in the mix, say, oh, you know, this chain was a top bestseller last year during holiday, and start to kind of work that in. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a formal gift guide because I think those are better coming into November, but just starting to really showcase, highlight, and put the focus on things that are tried and true favorites. Or you can kind of go into some kind of mini storytelling series. So if you do custom jewelry, this would be very relevant, especially if your custom cutoffs are coming in September or October for holiday. Doing like a series of maybe like your favorite custom projects from the whole year, or pictures or feedback from like happy clients from your custom. Again, it depends kind of on you and when all your deadlines and cutoffs are, which are very important to plot in and to consider when you are adapting this kind of approach. And then early November, again, it's going to depend, like, when are your shipping cutoffs? Are you doing discounts or promotions? But this is where you start to lean into the gift language. It could be self-gifting. It could be gifting for a loved one. This is when you want to start to think about gift guides by personality, by style, by price. This is where you start really talking about and emphasizing the timeline. So when do people have to order by? Do you have special gift options? Are you doing any kind of promotions? November, like, we are just leaning into all of that. All right, let me know if you guys have questions about that. And are you all doing a Black Friday promotion? I did mention at the top of this, I was going to talk about timing a little more. One thing I've been telling clients over the past few weeks Black Friday is really late this year. It's basically December. And it is just such a competitive time of year for marketing. A lot of shoppers are going to their tried and true, like bigger brands, and looking for those big discounts and sales that they kind of know that they will get, that will for sure happen. And if you're a smaller indie brand like all of you are, you're kind of putting yourself at a little bit of a disadvantage to be within that noise. That is, if you are trying to do some kind of promotion or discount. So I've really been recommending thinking outside the box and not participating in traditional Black Friday stuff unless you know you have an audience that is like primed to buy from you and you have done the work of planting the seeds over the course of November to get them to, you know, save their wish lists, make sure you know what you want, you're teasing the discount. Because it's going to be rare that someone's going to get to Black Friday weekend without having that being primed. And I guess it's just so so much noise. It's so hard to stand out. I remember last year, even from like the shopping perspective, I mean, I couldn't even like look at my promotions. There were certain things I knew that I wanted to buy for gifts and I had like my list, but if it fell outside of that, I couldn't pay attention. And so I don't want you guys to feel discouraged, you know, if you're planning a promotion over a traditional Black Friday period. Even with the best planning, it's gonna be a uphill battle to try to like stand out in that noise. So thinking about timing in that regard too. And maybe November is just about gifting. And Laura says, my daughter gets married the week before Thanksgiving, so whatever I plan for Black Friday, Cyber Monday will have to be simple for me to implement. Congratulations, Laura. Laura, you know what would be cute for you? If you feel comfortable sharing behind the scenes. And this is just an idea. I know, just my experience with mothers of the bride, you know, you want to look your best also. You don't want to obviously upstage the bride, but it is a moment for you. Are you going to be wearing your own jewelry? Are you gifting or styling anyone in your jewelry for that weekend? I think that it's a chance to kind of get a little more personal with your audience and show whatever you feel comfortable showing. I really like that. I think people love those kind of stories. People love weddings. Share it. Share it if you feel comfortable. All right. Has it been a while since you emailed? It sounds like you all that are watching this are very consistent. So maybe this won't apply to you. But if you do feel shy about ramping up, or you feel shy about how can I do this without feeling super salesy and pushy, as I just said to Laura, tell a personal story. What's a recent life moment that connects back to your jewelry? Have you overcome any challenges in your business or in design? Is there something you released lately that really means something special to you? This helps humanize your brand and reminds them there's a real person there, which I think that there is a good percentage of consumers who, yes, we have the Amazon crowd that is looking for the fast shipping and the competitive prices, but there's also the group of consumers that intentionally want to buy from makers and smaller businesses. And so if you can humanize your brand, I think that really goes a long way. sharing tips or ideas. So I kind of mentioned this before, but jewelry care, styling inspo, how to mix metals or layer pieces for fall. These are all helpful, easy wins that don't ask for anything in return. Bringing them behind the scenes, like I said. So Laura, show, maybe you make a special pair of earrings for yourself for your daughter's wedding. And of course, those will be very meaningful and special. So bringing them behind the scenes of that process. People love to feel in the know. Ask your audience a question. Maybe they are having trouble finding gifts for holiday. Like, what are they struggling with? Maybe they need a more concierge experience and they're not going to get that from Amazon. So you can be the person that like helps curate and make their holiday season easier. And also involve your community. If you can get pictures of your customers wearing jewelry, testimonials, celebrating someone's story. I mean, if you make custom jewelry, this is a no-brainer, and it reminds people they're part of something special. So I want to know what questions you have. I did get some questions beforehand too, so I can answer those. But I want to give you all top priority. Is it like so hot where you guys are, by the way? I'm in my office right now sweating. Hopefully you cannot tell how much I'm sweating because it is like 90 something degrees here today and the air conditioning is not even able to keep up. And also, what do you guys have planned for the weekend? I want to, if you joined later in the stream, I just want to share some reminders and then I will get to questions. So for JoyDeck members, you get this replay. Just a reminder of the September challenge. You're going to customize one of our fall email templates and you get this guide of 4 fall emails you must send before Black Friday. The bundle, you get ideas. Very cool. We're very excited about this, by the way. Choose one. Swap in your branding. What was I going to say? Show us a screenshot of your version. And then tell us, how does this fit into your holiday game plan and what is the goal for this particular email? And you can submit that by September 19th. One winner gets randomly chosen for a free Swift on-demand service. And we have these services that we offer also for non-members if they want to purchase for $99. I particularly want to highlight the email marketing critique here. So if you are struggling with the email marketing, that is a really good one I would recommend. We just did one for Laura actually, so she can tell us what she thought about it. And if you're not a JoyDeck member, you can grab a free 30-day trial by going to myjoydeck.com and clicking the free trial button. And that will give you access to all of this stuff for 30 days so that you can grab our fall email template bundle, participate in the challenge and all of that. And so we got some questions. What are good alternatives to sales? I'm assuming you all mean for Black Friday, like having a traditional discount. So if you don't want to do a sale, I think it's nice to still have some kind of like fun and festive Liz Kantner and I say that a lot in our Success with Jewelry podcast, if you guys listen to that. Fun and festive element to your holiday marketing. Maybe it's like a free gift. I don't know. You could, if you have like a low priced item that you can offer for purchases over a certain amount, maybe it's like special gift packaging, or you can collab with another local business and they get like a box of chocolates or a free candle or something special like that. Another thing is, if you don't want to do like a percentage discount off, we've had clients who do like buy over a certain amount in December and then get a gift card that you can use in January for like $20 or whatever, $50. It depends on whatever the price point is. But I think there are a lot of ways you can get creative with it. But I would say, if you are hoping to kind of like get noticed in this busy time, even if you don't do like a regular discount, like a percentage discount, I think that you do have to throw your hat in the ring with something compelling, generous, festive, creative, and fun. And so whatever makes sense for you. Again, it doesn't have to be a discount. Maybe you offer like gift box bundles, like things that are pre-arranged as a set, like a earrings and necklace in like a gift box or something. And there's like a small discount, but they have to buy the whole set. We have had clients that have done things like that before. Laura says the email audit was very helpful. Thank you. She also says, I am currently updating my abandoned cart and browse abandonment emails. Then I need to update the product listings. I don't have many of my products on my site. Oh, okay. She's responding to the audit that we did. Got it. Yeah. No pressure. No pressure. Do what you can. This is a great time of year to like catch up on things like that. For example, like Laura's saying, like she knows she has these gaps in some of her email automations. She doesn't have time right now, but it's on her to-do list. So it's good to like be aware of these things leading into Q4. And yeah. So this was a question that I got before the masterclass that was submitted by someone who couldn't be here live. They asked, should I resend to people who don't open? I love this question. So this is a practice that was common and accepted as a best practice like a few years ago. I'm trying to remember now the exact time where this was no longer a good practice. I would say 2021, 2022. So some things changed. Before then, there weren't such strict privacy laws with email marketing. And basically, you could accurately know who on your list did or didn't open your emails. Like it was they either did or they didn't, and you knew that. But now that's no longer true. So a few years ago, Apple released an iOS update for iPhone. I think it was iOS 15. I cannot remember what it was. It doesn't matter. But it had new privacy settings, which are ultimately really good for consumers and for users of technology because it obscures our behavioral data, and marketers can't know so clearly what we're doing on our phones. So, for example, if I have an iPhone and I receive your email campaign, Klaviyo actually doesn't know for sure if I opened it or not. If it loads on my iPhone, it will likely just be marked opened in Klaviyo, but that doesn't mean I actually opened it. So all of that is to say, this is very positive in helping protect people's privacy, but it means the data on your end is inaccurate. So if you are resending to people who didn't open, you actually have no true way of knowing if someone did or didn't open your email. So there's that aspect of it. And the other part of that to think about is it's like a little bit of a negative way of thinking about email marketing. It's like, I always come back to dating because marketing is like dating. It would be like if you liked someone and they were lukewarm about you, but you kept asking them for a date. That's annoying. In email marketing, if you keep sending to people who are not opening, you are being that person, okay? You want to think about it differently. You want to focus on those engaged people rather than trying to win over people that aren't responding to you. We don't care about those people. We care about the people that want to be there. So emailing more intentionally to people that are engaged is a better strategy than trying to continually ask for a date from someone that doesn't care about you. So resending to people that don't open is not a good strategy in 2025. We have 3 minutes left. Any last minute questions? And if you do think of something after the stream and you're a JoyDeck member, you know where to find us. JoyDeck members get access to messaging. They can ask us questions and we respond in a timely manner. But it's been really fun being with you all here today. You guys have been so engaged in the chat, and it's been fun getting questions. We do these monthly. If you want to bookmark when the next one is, I should probably know this off the top of my head when the next one is, but I don't. I'm going to look it up really quick while I talk to you all. It's in September, obviously. And it is happening on the 19th, so about a month from now. Friday, September 19th at 9 a.m. Pacific is going to be our next one. Similar format. We have YouTube and Facebook Live, and the topic of that one is going to be marketing flow setups. So basically, tactics for generating more revenue with less effort this holiday season, which doesn't that sound pretty good? All right, everyone. Well, hopefully I'll see you on that one. Again, thanks so much for joining today. It's been super fun to be here with you. I appreciate you all. I hope you have a really great weekend.